It's that zesty flow, no Shima flow. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's that zesty flow.
Do a small modification for the program for a better understanding. The modification goes something like this. Now, in this scope, that means within this particular method, can I declare a variable with a name called x and assign this one with a value, something like this? Is it a feasible change? Can it be done?
Maybe, sir.
Maybe. Why you feel like it may not be? See, this is method m1. In a method m1, you are declaring some local variable called a 11.
Yes.
Right? Yes, method means you can declare any local variables, no problem in that. So you are declaring some local variable, right? What will be output if I compile this program and check? See, you have a two variables now, right? Within a method, x is having 11, but at a class level, x is having a 10, right? Now, if I may compile a program, which one will be gaining a priority? Whichever has been declared a local, so that one will be gaining a priority, right? So Java C file name is x.java. What was the folder name? Okay. Java C file name is x capital X dot Java. Compilation has been done properly, no errors. So if I run the program, I need to give a small x because that is a class name. It is printing 11 for me, right? So why it is printing 11? Because it is giving a more priority for the local declaration of a variable, right? So which is a local declaration? Int x. That means whichever is available within this particular scope. Now, if my intention is not to print 11 as the output, if my intention is to access class level instance variable, then what change I need to do? Can I say that this is having a local scope? Local scope means scope is restricted only with respect to this particular method called a m1, local scope. Now, whether this particular int x is equal to 10, is it a class level, right? When it is a class level, there will be some object which need to refer that particular instance variable, correct? When I am saying that this is responsible with respect to instance, somewhere you are creating object for that. New y is an object, right? Now what I mean to say is, if you want value at a class level, instead of a printing x, you specify this dot x. This dot x in the sense at this particular scope, whichever is the class level variable you have, which is x, class level variable x, that value you print, not a normal x whichever is there in your local scope. Shall we just run the program and cross check will it print a 10 or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So let me compile this. Compilation goes fine. Yes. Now it is not taking a local reference, rather it is taking instance level reference, right? So the reason is you have specified this in the sense with respect to current object. Which was a current object for this particular scope? The current object was the object of a y class, right? With respect to the object of a y class, you just print whatever is the value of x. Is this clear? Yes. Shall we do one more small modification? Is it not possible to have, I think a few might have guessed what might be the new change now. Is it not possible to have int x at this particular scope? This is called as step-by-step torture. Explain again, sir. Right. This keyword refers to a current instance. Current instance in the sense, if you have any object created with respect to this class, right? With respect to that object, you refer to the variable, right? This means instead of writing a this, I can write something like y dot class. What is the y? Y is nothing but class name called so means a class name of my that particular inner class, right? Instead of writing a y, what I'm saying is this. That means at this particular location, whichever is the object, right? This is a object level, right? This is the instance variable. Instance in the sense I need to have an object of that particular class, then only I can refer to that particular value, right? What I'm saying is object level, whatever a value of x is there, you print that particular value of x, right? Now say the next scenario, if I have one more int variable outside in a outer class x, how to access this particular outer class x in a inner class method. Beautiful conclusions. How to do that? Shall I need to write something like this dot this? Compiler will kick you. What is you are spoiling the meaning of this keyword, it will say, right? So what you have to do is first you have to specify outer class reference, class name is a x dot this dot x, right? Outer class name is a x. Don't get confused with respect to a variable x and this particular x. Will it kick me error? No. Okay, right? So let me just compile and check. Printing a 9, right? So be clear with this example. This is a very beautiful example put in a simple words how to refer to each and every what I mean to say scope of your classes, right? Inside a method, if you want to access a variable, directly specify that particular variable name, right? If a variable name is at a immediate class level, then specify this followed by x, can be done. If it is above to your class level but within your area, that means available area itself, because you have access to that particular outer class as you are a nested class, right? So in that case, specify x, that means outer class, taking the outer class as a reference in this particular object level reference, you are accessing a variable called x, right? I said that instead of using a this, you can specify this particular class name called a y also, right? So here x stands for outer class, y stands for inner class. From a outer class, in a inner class, whatever you have a value of x, you print that particular value. Let me just cross check. Cannot be dereferenced. Int cannot be dereferenced. Oh, it is naming convention. What did I do? Int cannot be dereferenced. System.out.println x dot y dot. Okay, for a time, let me just check with the naming convention. But for a time being, let us understand this one in this fashion itself. Any questions?
Sir,
Yes.
if you use the first x dot this dot x, the first x is just responsible to print the value of x out the outer class.
No, this particular x, when I am writing x dot, it will make sure that you are talking about a class.
Okay, the outer class.
Yeah, outer class name is a x, so it was a small confusion. So I just renamed that y with this one.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Sir, when we write x dot this dot x, then how it prints the value of x of outer class? Yeah, that is what I'm saying. See, if I'm just writing a this dot x, if I'm just writing a this dot x, am I referring to a this particular variable called a 10? Right? When you are clear with this, so means confusion with respect to am I talking about a this keyword or a this adjective? When I am using a this dot x, then I am talking about current instance variable called a x. Right? When I am writing a this dot x, then I am talking about current instance variable x. Right? Now my intention is not to talk with respect to current intention, so means current instance of the object. Rather, my intention is with respect to outer class, right? With respect to outer class, you, so means with respect to outer class, you refer to the value of x. This is something like uh, whichever is the outside, right? Whichever is the outside, that particular name will get a precedence. Means I'm referring with respect to that particular name. See, if I am using a normal x, if I am using a normal x, then I am talking about a this level, right? If I am using a this dot x, right, higher level to that one is this time, right? If I am using x dot this dot x, then I am talking about one more higher level, that is this particular value, right? Local scope, instance level scope, higher level of a scope, evaluated in this direction. First it will check, are you talking about a local x? No, you are not talking about a local x because there is a this keyword. Then it will consider that you are talking about instance level. You have another dot here. So then it says that, okay, you are talking about a x classes instance variable, right? So it will print this particular value. Understood? Clear with the concept? Shall we modify a bit? Modify in the sense, I just wanted to make sure that you understood what is a nested classes. Right. Now, if you answer my question, now I'll be writing a one program. So after looking into a program, if you are able to tell me how to create object of that particular class, then I can make sure that you understood what is a nested classes. Right. Again, I'm telling you, each and every modification is for a better understanding, not to confuse. Right? I have a class which is called as class A. Class A, right? Within a class A, I have a something called class B. Within a class B, I have a something called class C. Within this particular class C, I have a method called a M1. So this particular method is having some system dot out dot println statement saying that from class C, close of a method, close of a class C, close of a class B, right? Within a means before a closing a class A, public static void main string args. Close of class A. Right. Now you have to tell me what instructions I need to write in a main method so that I will be in a position to execute the M1 method. First, so means we have seen three different ways of declaring an object. So first way I will write based on your whatever you post in a chat box, based on that I will write. I wanted to go with the first approach. What is the first approach? Creating object of a outer class. A, I will create object called A is equal to new A. What does it mean? You have created one outer class object now, right? Now what has to be done? Keeping that particular A as a reference. Now, keeping that particular A as a reference, can I create object of a B? Yes, how to do? A dot B, object B is equal to new. Do I need to write a new directly? No. A dot new of B. Right? Nested classes. A dot B dot C, object name is C, is equal to whichever is the previous object you have defined. Previous object defined is a B dot new of C. Now you are able to create object of C. By using the C object, you can call your command. This is first way. Right? Let me just run and cross check. What was the file name? A.java. Compiled fine. Working fine and printing a C for me. Correct, right? This was first approach. What was the second approach? A dot B dot C, object C is equal to new. First you need an object of A dot, then new you need object of B, then new you need object of C. Right? By using a C, you can call a method M1. This is second way. Let me just compile and cross. Compilation has been done fine. Got the output. Right. Which is a third way. I don't want to store this particular reference anywhere. Directly I wanted to call that particular method M1. Ruby already answered. New object of A dot new object of B dot new object of a C dot M. Right? So let me just compile once. Compilation is fine and executed also. Right? With this particular example, then you are clear with the nested classes. Any questions with respect to the example I have taken and the different ways of creating an object? Right. So before we proceed further, we need to discuss what is called as categories of nested classes. Right. First category, your normal nested classes. Second, I hope PPT is visible. First category is your normal inner classes, like creating inner class and accessing that particular objects. So means accessing a methods of that inner class by creating object at outside. Right. Next category is method local inner class. That means this time we will not be creating a class directly inside another class. Rather, class has been created inside some method. Right? So this is called as method local inner class. Right? Method local inner class. Third category is static nested class. Right? Static nested class in the sense, here in this case, inner class whichever you have, that particular class will be a static. Right? And you can apply, so means there was a question asked by Abraham in the last class, can we make a classes as a static? We can make a classes as a static only if the class is the inner class. If a class is the outer class, then you cannot make a class as a static. Right? So what is the thing which you need to observe when you are making a class as a static is no need to create object of this particular class, right? By just taking outer name, right, you can directly create your, so means no need to create object of this one explicitly, just to specify outer class, right, dot inner, right, this is nothing but a inner class name, right, you can directly create an object, right. So this is advantage of making a inner class as a static. When you make inner class as a static, no need to create object of that particular inner class, you can directly create object of outer class, just take a reference of your inner class and create an object, right. So coming to a method local inner class, in the sense, in outer class you will be having a method, so inside this particular method you will be defining the some class, right. So how to go for the definition of this particular class, that means how to access the method of a display, right. First to create object of outer class, method local inner class. First to create object, so means in this particular case it is recommended to go with object creation within this particular method. I'll explain you method local inner class, but be clear with the static nested classes, right. In a static nested class, your inner class will be a static, so no need to create object explicitly for the inner class, you can directly specify its name, and just by specifying the means name, you will be having a reference for inner class, create an object of it, right. So previous approach, if you see, you were writing new test outer, right, new test outer, then you were writing new inner, right. If you see the second approach, syntax should not be confused. This approach, a dot b dot c, object c is equal to new a, new b, new c, right. When it is a method static, you are not writing a two new statements, you are just specifying new test outer dot inner, because this is a class name which it will be creating in the background. Is this clear? When I talk about the categories, we will be having a categories. First one is the normal nested classes, second one is method local, the third one is static inner class. Static inner class, when inner class is a static, no need to create object of that particular inner class explicitly. Fourth one is something called as anonymous inner class, right. So these are the four categories. Anonymous inner class, I don't think there is some example given with respect to anonymous inner class, no example has been given, no need to discuss anything, so means no need. After your internals, I'll take example on anonymous inner classes. For a time being, we will just concentrate on this particular static nest, so means static nested classes is a clear, right. Only this will be a change, only object creation will be a change. We need to discuss a small part with respect to a method local inner classes. Shall we clear with these points? We have thoroughly discussed what is a normal nested classes. I told you what is the difference with respect to creation of object in a static inner classes. I told you you don't have any example with respect to anonymous inner classes with respect to the syllabus. I'll be taking this example after your internals, right. We need to discuss what is called as method local inner classes. Shall we? Yes, right. Before I go to a method local inner class, for my previous program, I just wanted to do a small change. How many times you will do the changes, sir? Don't scold me. Intention is for a better understanding. Where that class went? 1 second. So, x.java file. Right. No. Okay, one second. Method local inner class. Okay. Let me okay, let me remove these values. I'm just keeping a program simple. Here it will be a normal. Okay, and let me remove this parts. I'm just cross-checking a one scenario. Just give me a 1 minute. Then I'll discuss what is a method local. So means in which scenario you actually need to go with a method local inner classes, right? Okay. Scenario for method local class is something like this. This is the most non-used way of going with the nested classes, right? You will never be using a method local inner classes in most of our practical applications, right? So what does the scenario says? If there is a some method, if there is a some method, in this method you might be having a n number of instructions, right? I'll be saying like I have a n number of instructions in my this method, right? My so means present situation of a mine is, out of these n number of statements, few statements need to be repeated. So means few set of statements need to be repeated. Say for example, I have a sum function. So means some instructions which will be calculating sum of a two numbers. Example I'm saying, right? Within this I have a something like a sum of a two numbers need to be calculated, right? Now so means can I write a method inside another method? This is my outer method, right? In a outer method I wanted to perform an addition of a two numbers so many times. I cannot go with the recursion also. That is not my requirement. My requirement is just I need to perform this particular sum of two numbers repeatedly, right? So just assume that I have a some 1 lakh instructions in this particular method m1. So out of these 1 lakh instructions, I have a some 500 to 600 instructions with respect to sum of two numbers, right? Now can I write a method and call that particular method within another method? Whether nested methods are allowed with respect to Java? Whether nested methods allowed with respect to Java? Nested methods are allowed in Java. Did you hear anything called as a nested method? There is no concept of a nested methods with respect to a Java. So if you have these kind of requirements wherein which you wanted to execute one method within another method, right? Are you able to understand the scenario, right? If I directly display you a program, you can understand a program, but you will not understand when to go with that kind of approach, right? Why I'm explaining you the scenario, in which scenario you need to go with the method local way of inner classes, right? So what I mean to say is, within a particular method, if you have so many number of instructions need to be executed, see, without defining this particular class, I can write that particular program, no problem in that. But the length of a program will be a very big. I don't want to go with a very bigger program which will reduce the performance of my complete file. What I will do is, whichever things are repeating, I wanted to make it as a one method, right? When I say that I wanted to make it as a one method, Java does not support a nested method concept. When it is not supporting a nested method concept, what I have to do? I have to create a class. Then after creating a class, I have to specify that particular method in that particular class, right? So now if my intention is to create a method called a void sum, what I have to do is, I cannot directly specify void method inside a m1. So I have to specify some class name called x. So inside of this particular class name called x, I can easily specify whatever might be the definition of this particular sum, and then I can close this particular class definition. I'm just writing a syntax, right? Hope things are clear. Void m1 is the outer method. So within that method, I wanted method, but a nested method not supported with respect to a Java. So I have declared one class, and within that particular class, I am defining one more method called as, right? Now, if I want to call this method within this particular scope of a main, I can create x obj is equal to new x. Then using this particular x object, I can call that particular sum any number of times. Obj dot sum of sum 40 comma 10, obj dot sum of 20 comma 30. Are you able to understand what I am doing? What I am saying is, if I want to see here, if you consider that there are some 100 instructions, for all these additions, do I need to repeat those 100 instructions again and again? If I want to do these three operations, I need to have a, if I am not using a class and a method structure, within this particular method, I need to write a 300 more instructions. Again, I am telling you, if you are clear with the scenario, you can easily understand why the things have been written in that particular fashion, right? Understood the scenario? Clear? Let me summarize the scenario. What I said, if you have a method which is having a more number of instructions need to be executed, and if there is a pattern such that few instructions can be grouped as a one more method, right? If there is a pattern such that few instructions can be combined as a one more method, then I can go with the method local inner classes, right? Because your Java will not support nested methods. You cannot put a one method in another method. So that is the reason why first I'll be creating a class inside a method. Inside of that, I'll be specifying which method I wanted to group, right? So this will reduce the number of instructions that need to be written. I can repeatedly call the method in that particular inner class to make my work easy, right? Ruby Kumari, one more time.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I have a void m1 as a method. So inside of this method, I have some, say, some 10,000 instructions are there, right? 10,000 instructions. There are a few instructions which are just calculating some, right? So these instructions may be out of a 10,000, these instructions may be occupying some 250, right? So out of a 10,000 instructions, my 250 instructions are with respect to sum of two numbers, right? So when I say sum of two numbers, every time it may not be just a 10 plus 20, right? So sometimes it might be a sum of sum 2 comma 5, right? Sum of sum 5 comma 6, right? Now my intention is, I don't want to go with the means. What I mean to say is, for a one particular sum, it will be taking us some 250 instructions, right? Or else if it is just overthinking, then take a sum 10 instructions has been written for a sum of two numbers. Now for these three programs, how many number of instructions will be written? 30, right? So similarly, if you consider that you have a this particular sum means this function has been called sum 10 times. That means 100 instructions are there with respect to only sum of two numbers. Right? Now, what I mean to say is, instead of performing that one independently, can I group these things and make as a one particular method? Right? Sum, 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 sum. That means there are a n number of statements which are just performing a summation only. Right? How many n number of instructions I am saying? Around 250 instructions are with respect to just summation itself. Right? Now what I am saying is, instead of instruction just for a summation, I will write some method for that particular sum. Right? Whichever numbers wanted to perform a summation, let them call this particular method. Am I reducing number of instructions? Am I reducing number of instructions? Reducing, right? If I'm making something as a method.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Now what I'm saying, if I am generalizing this particular method, I need to generalize it something like this. Generalizing a method. Right? Now what is the problem is, if I include a statement something like this, that means if I include within a m1, I wanted a method called a sum, then compiler will show error saying that nested methods not supported. If I am writing like this, then a compiler will say that nested methods is not supported with respect to Java. So what I will do is, instead of specifying it directly in a method, I will specify a class X, right? Inside a class X, I will define a method called a void sum. Right? So this is scope of X. Right? Class X has started here and the class X has been closed here. Right? So outside of this class, I can create object of a class. Right? Just by creating its object, I can call that particular function n number of times. Right? Now where object has been created? Within a method only. Clear with the concept? See, we have to go to this particular approach only when the method is a lengthy and there are a few instructions which are resembling and can be made as a one method. And this is very with respect to a practical implementation of any problem statement. And this variation of a nested class has most rare used syntax. Shall we see an example? I'll not type a program, I'll just display the things from a PPT. It's a confusing example. You can easily understand that particular part. Method local, okay. So class outer you have. So within a class outer, you have a something called as a stuff method. So in a stuff method, include a display, but a display included in a stuff because your Java does not support nested method concept. So you are declaring a something called as a class inner. So in a class inner, you are putting this particular display method. Now if you want to work with this particular display method, within this particular stuff method, you create object of this particular inner class and call this particular method. Right? And now don't try to create object of this one outside of this method and all. That is not the intention of going for this particular approach. Approach is a simple. Within this particular method, I want to access this particular method called a display. Based on this requirement only, I have a something called as a method local inner class. Right? Here itself creating object of inner class and calling a display method. Right? So a method local inner class can be instantiated only within a method where the inner class has been defined. You cannot perform this particular declaration outside and then call this particular method display. Not feasible. Clear with the things?
Sir, can you do one example like this?
Yes, can be done. So just thought I need to discuss one more garbage collector topic. So just wanted to display it directly instead of typing all those things. New, let me save, let me save it as outer.java class. I will type whatever was there in a PPT, class outer. So within a class outer, I need to have a method void m1, right? So method local, in the sense within this method I need to have a one more class, right? So class inner. So this approach is nothing but a method local inner class, right? So here I need to have a method. So there you have taken something like a stuff as a method. Here you have taken a stuff. In place of m1 we have taken stuff. Here it is different. Okay. So let me give this one as some m2, another method which is inside. Right. So with respect to m2, system dot out dot println from m2. Right. So this is a close of m2 and this will be a close of my inner class, right? So what we have said, wherever you have closed the inner class, sorry, within the scope of a m1 we need to create object of this one. So obj is equal to inner, created inner class object, obj dot m2, right? So now this will be a close of a m1 method, right? When a close of a m1 method is done, now I am in a class outer. Here I can write something like a public static void main string args, right? This will be my main method area. If I want to call a m1, I need to create an object of outer, right? Outer object 1 is equal to new outer, right? So using object 1, I need to call a method called a m method close of a class outer, right? So if I run the program now, outer class object is created. Using outer class object, m1 method will be called. So in a m1 method, you have a class definition. So when you have a class definition, first it will go to object creation of an inner class object created. By using inner class object, it will be calling a m2. So if I run the program, I need to get output as from m2. Compile javac outer.java java outer. Could not load main class outer. Could not find a, 1 second, public static void main. Did we do any spelling mistakes? m1 started, outer closed. Okay. Class inner closed, m2 closed, m1 closed. Find what might be the problem. When a compilation is fine, could not find or load main class outer. From m2. I didn't understood why it has given error in first time. Anything. I just compiled it once again and executed a program.
Sir,
Yes.
if we not write this inner object new inner,
Hmm.
what will happen, sir, in here? It will not print, or if we
If you are
instead
not
of using
creating,
here,
hmm,
instead of using here, we should use after the inside the public static void main. What will happen, sir?
that only I'm telling you. So if you are going with the method local, means method, then within the scope of a method, you need to create object of a inner class, right? Because what is the problem is, see, uh, here if you are creating object of outer class by using object outer class object, you can refer to these methods, right? But inside a method, if you have a class, it will not be possible for it to create a class file for that. Let me just show you internally how the things have been created. What was our class name? Outer.java, right? See, if you see the syntax, I means background how it has created objects. If you see class files, it is see outer.java is a class file which you have written. It has created outer.class, right? So here it has not created outer dollar inner, rather it has created outer dollar one inner, right? Observe the change. It is clearly saying that this particular inner class is not directly a nested class for outer class, rather there is a something difference, right? Previously how it has a defined, how it has created a, it was a creating in this fashion. See, x dollar y, saying that y is the immediate inner class of x, right? So now in this case it is not creating in that fashion. It is saying outer dollar one inner. That means it is not an immediate inner class for this particular outer class. It will not allow this particular object creation outside of that particular main declaration, means M1 declaration. If you want to try, later you can just cross check.
Okay.
Shall we just quickly see garbage collector? It won't take a much time. I will directly write a program. Class garbage. Not take a much time. Anonymous inner class, don't worry about anonymous inner class. We will discuss that one after your internals. Because according to a syllabus, no program has been asked on anonymous inner classes. Test garbage.java. Public static void main string args. Right? Do you remember what was the theory we have discussed with respect to garbage collector? Any object which is not useful, right? When there is an object which is not useful, to take back the memory occupied by that particular object, you will be, so means garbage collector will come into action, right? So then it will take out whatever the information is there with respect to that unused object, right? Say for example, I need to have an object of this particular garbage object is equal to new garbage created object of this particular garbage class. Now what I will do is, this object I will fill with a null value. Null means nothing has been saved in this particular object, right? Now what I will do, before this particular object has been taken by the garbage collector, right? Before this particular object has been taken by the garbage collector, if anything has to be written, if anything has to be done, that information I need to write in a finalize method, right? System dot out dot println object destroyed. Right? So what I said, this finalize method will be called automatically when it is going to take out a memory occupied that particular object. Right? This finalize method will be executed automatically whenever garbage collector will come and take out the memory occupied by this particular object. Right? So let us just cross check, will it destroy the object and will it call that particular method for me. Java garbage.java. What's the problem? Okay, where did I file? CD desktop test. Yes, Java C garbage.java. Error, finalize in garbage, cannot override finalize in object, attempting to assign weaker access privileges, was protected. 1 second. Usage of a method is correct. Need to write a public for this. Maybe mandatory. Let me just cross check. Yes. Writing a public is mandatory. Not showing any output because I don't know whether a garbage collector came into action or not. Right? If you want to call a garbage collector explicitly, see system.gc. Right? GC stands for calling a garbage collector. Right? So what are the things I am doing? Creating object, referring to that object with a null value. Right? After referring the object with a null value, I am not calling a finalized method, rather I am calling a something called as garbage collector. Right? So what I said, when a garbage collector comes into action, whichever object has not been used, that will be taken back. Right? When that particular object has been taken back, implicitly finalized method will be called and it has to print this message for me. Let us just cross check, is it working according to the statements or not. Object destroyed. Clear with the finalize method. Few people, I mean, if you want to remember what is the work of a finalize, just keep in mind that if there is any prisoner who has given a death sentence in the sense फांसी लगाने के लिए लेके जाए. When a person is supposed to be hanged, there will be a final question will be asked. Right? तेरा आखिरी ख्वाहिश क्या है? Right? So that particular आखिरी ख्वाहिश is nothing but a finalized method. Right? The last wish of an object, that means before it has been destroyed, if it had any instructions to be executed, those instructions will be putting in a finalize method. When this will be used, say for example, you are doing any banking transactions, right? You have a transferred amount you have been transferred, that means from your account it has been debited, right? But it has not been credited in a person to whom you wanted to send. In between something happened, right? When you are transferring every data will be stored in an object. When a person is not ready to accept, these particular objects will be a waste. That means non-useful objects, right? All these non-useful objects need to be destroyed, right? All these non-useful objects need to be destroyed, but it cannot be destroyed like that. What it has to do, what it has to do is whatever data it has got. That means if some 5 lakhs has been debited from your account, that 5 lakhs been stored in an object which need to be put in your destination account number, but destination account number is not active to receive that particular information. So that 5 lakhs is there in a present object itself. It will wait for some time. After a timeout occurs, then there will be a call for a garbage collector saying that if anybody is standing without a collect all the information from them, then where you will be writing instructions, you will be writing instructions in a finalized method. That means if there is any object which utilize its work, then garbage collector need to go to that particular object, take out whatever it is holding and put it back in your account. Got the use of a finalize and a garbage collector? Observe the things. You are calling a garbage collector method by writing a system.gc, but a finalize method will be executed implicitly without a call. That means once you call a garbage collector, calling a finalized method. If you have any questions for internals with respect to a nested classes, be clear with the normal working of a nested classes, and be clear with the method static nested means method local nested classes and a static nested classes. Don't worry about the anonymous nested classes, right? And with respect to garbage collector, this is the description example. Okay, there is another topic called this keyword. So I have shown you one example. If a question is asked on this keyword, if you are writing a description of that particular example also, no problem. But we will discuss anonymous inner classes and this keyword in a detail after finishing your internals. If you have any questions, you can post those questions in the chat box.
Sir, I got confused here.
Garbage collection.
Yes, sir.
How come? Simple concept. What is the confusion?
Like you use public void finalized inside that system.out object destroyed. Sir, can you explain?
See, this is a method. Finalize is a method which will be called when you are calling system.gc. That means with respect to a system, if you are calling a garbage collector, what it does is it will check whether are there any objects which have been not used. Say for example, instead of this, say now what I am doing is garbage ob is equal to new garbage, right? I am putting a null value into this particular object, right? So instead of this, say for example, if I have taken some variable here, int x is equal to 10, right? So now what I will do is with respect to object.x is equal to 10. Now this particular object is not empty, it is holding some value. Let me just cross check what might be the output now. Compile the garbage collector. Right? See. Now when an object is holding a value, it is not executing this particular finalize method. Why? Because object is having a value. It will be thinking that this particular value might be used later. Right? So what we said, garbage collector will be called and it will come into action when objects don't have any information need to be done. That means if there is no information with respect to objects, right? Say that is the reason why what I have done is instead of creating this particular instance variable, so what I have done, I have directly put some null value into this particular object, right? Now this particular object's memory can be taken back by a garbage collector. You have a few instances where object will become a non-useful, right? When you are assigning a null to object, this is non-useful. What you will make an object which is having a null? No use, right? you can take a memory occupied by that particular object, right? You have a one more instance, something like, say for example, copy, paste. Now this is object 1. Both object 1 and object 2 are of same, what I mean to say, same class, right? Now if I write obj1 is equal to obj, right? What we are doing, obj1 is equal to obj. That means whatever was holding by a obj, now it can be referred by obj1 also. That means now there is a no need of this particular object 1, correct?
The same value, null.
Same value, right? So in this scenario, it can collect a memory occupied by this particular obj1, so means obj, right? So whenever object does not have any information in it, right, that can be taken back by a garbage collector, right? While taking back, if you are writing any instructions in a finalized method, those instructions will be executed, then it will be taken back, right? So let me share you a scenario is there in which situations it will go for that particular things. First one is by referring a null. Second one is when you are equating E1 is equal to E2, when both E1 and E2 are of the same type. And the third one is when you are creating anonymous objects. In these three scenarios, your objects means there will not be any creation of a reference of objects, so they will be ready to accepted by the garbage collector. It can call a finalized method for that particular execution.
Sir, in where we can use this garbage collection, like which programming?
Whenever you see that, only I told you, when you have a say for example a banking kind of application, or wherever you want to go back to a previous state, or wherever you want to close the application with a proper settings, right? In those scenarios you can go with a garbage collector. Say for example, suddenly your program has been stopped. When it has been stopped, whatever objects has been created, those objects will be idle in the memory, right? So when they are idle in a memory, after a some, see, garbage collector will be working repeatedly. That means in our program we are calling it explicitly. In our program we are calling it explicitly, but internally this will not be the case. Internally what happens is, once your program terminates, once a program, you are closing a program, whatever objects has been created in the main memory, automatically garbage collector will come into action and it will take out all the unused objects or whatever the space you have used till now, right? But if you want to call it explicitly, then you will be using a system.gc.
Okay, sir, got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Ruby Kumari, I think I answered your question. If you are allowing it to execute by itself, you will not be knowing when it will come and do this particular process of taking back all the unused objects, right? So that is the reason why we are calling it explicitly and telling that check are there any objects which have been not used.
Sir, do we have to define object is equal to null here in this example?
See, when a garbage collector will come into action means if you have unused objects, then only it will come into action. If you are not a creating object, that means if you are not a creating object means there is no unused space with respect to a program. Every space is a useful. In that scenario, your garbage collector will not come into action. It will not pick any of objects. See, what I'm saying is, if you have just a declaration something like this, say for example, if you have just a declaration something like this, object has been created. I shown you example, right? If you are writing int x, right? So what I mean to say, if you have a int x is equal to 10, right? If this object is referring to that particular x value, if this object is referring to that particular x value, then obviously this object is now useful itself, right? When this object is useful, even though if you are calling a garbage collector, it will not destroy this object, right? Not destroying. See, process Java exited with a 0 because this object has been used. Now, instead of putting this object with a value of some x, if I am initializing this one with a null, right? What does it mean? There is a one object which is not holding anything in it, right? Now this particular object can be taken by the garbage collector, right? When it is can be taken by the garbage collector, I am telling that don't directly take it, means don't directly take this particular object. Before taking this particular object, you go and execute instructions in a finalize. After executing instructions, you take back this particular object. This finalize is nothing but the last wish of an object before it goes to die. And nothing will happen if I am not writing this particular finalize method also. It will not say that this particular program does not have a finalize method and you are calling a garbage collector. Nothing will happen. If you are not writing a finalize, garbage collector will come, it will take back your object. Nothing will be informed for you. You will not see any output on the screen. If you are writing a finalize method, before it takes a memory of an object, it will execute a finalize, then it will kill the object.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So I'll be ending this particular session now. All the best for your internals and have a nice day.